Okay. Good evening, dear members and guests. I'm Chetan Shah, your Additional Director of Programs at ISACA Muscat Chapter 2024-26. Today, I welcome you all to this 16th CPE session at ISACA Muscat Chapter for the year 2025. This is our Silver Jubilee celebration year at our Muscat Chapter. I'm so happy to see so many enthusiastic audience in front of me. For the smooth functioning of our interactive segment, may I request all of you to please switch off your mobile phones or keep them on silent mode, and also keep yourself muted so that there is no disturbance when the session or the educational segment is going on. If you have any questions, please raise your emoji hand so that our question and answer personnel, that is Mr. Manoj KV, he will allow you to speak and you will be able to ask the questions. If there is a nature's call, please find out, or you know where the washrooms are at your home, office, or wherever you are at present. Before we start, or before I hand it over to our acting president, let me ask you a simple question. How many of you think ChatGPT can do everything? I see some hands, but let me tell you, ChatGPT cannot do many things, or I'll tell you some of the things which ChatGPT cannot do. Let us listen to some certain things like ChatGPT cannot browse its data the way you keep on browsing on your mobile full time 24/7. ChatGPT can only listen to our commands, and then it will sit silent without the mobile because it does not have human feeling at all. ChatGPT does not have brains the way we have, because we remember that tomorrow we have to go for a meeting, or day after tomorrow we have to meet our friends or some of the old college friends. Unless you enable the settings to remember, ChatGPT will not remember anything. ChatGPT can tell you how the heart surgery can be done. But please, dear friends, don't believe it and take your knife from your house and start doing your surgery on your own, because ChatGPT is not legally valid to do all those surgeries. You have to believe doctors to do that. ChatGPT also can make mistakes. It can hallucinate or provide outdated information, which we generally avoid in our true life. Am I right? ChatGPT also cannot see our mails, so you can write anything until you show your mail to ChatGPT. If I continue, I will take over next 2 hours. But let us go to our speaker. Our speaker will be introduced by another speaker who will come after some time. Before that, to deliver the presidential address, we have acting president. In form of acting president, we have our vice president of ISACA Muscat chapter, who is founder member of ISACA Muscat chapter from the very first year that is 2000 onwards. This is his 25th year in existence and delivering beautifully. He is master accounts person. He is master chartered accountant, and he can audit and deliver numbers. He is man of numbers. That's what I can say. Please help me welcome to deliver the presidential address, Mr. Badri Narayan.
Thank you, Chetan. Good evening, everyone. Salam alaikum. A very warm welcome to all of you to today's webinar inside the ChatGPT Sandwich. We are really excited to have you with us for what promises to be an eye-opening and interactive session. AI, and especially ChatGPT, is no longer a buzzword. It's something many of us are already using in our daily lives. Today, we'll get a closer look at how it works, what it can do, and how we can make the best use of it. I'd like to thank our speaker, none other than our Additional Director CISA Certification, Mr. Chidambaram, for joining us and sharing valuable insight. And of course, your presence here assures us for a session that will be enlightening, engaging, and thought-provoking. I would like also to take a moment of thanks all our members, participants, and program committee for making this event possible. Your enthusiasm and commitment to learning are what drive the success of initiative like this. With that, let's get started and dive inside ChatGPT. Over to our most energetic and charismatic MC, Mr. Chetan Shah, for the rest of the proceeding of the evening. Thank you. Fasten your seatbelt and enjoy the session by our very, very learned speaker, Mr. Chidambaram. Thank you, and over to Chetan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Badri, for that presidential address. Quite inspiring and motivational. To introduce our speaker, who does not need any introduction though, but as a tradition, we should introduce, and you will come to know many more things about the speaker. To introduce our speaker, there's a person who is passionate researcher and academician with over 20 years of teaching experience across reputed national and international institutions. She is known for her commitment to academic excellence, innovation in teaching, and dedication to student mentoring and research guidance. Currently, she is serving as Director of Programs at ISACA Moscow Chapter 2024-26. She actively contributes to the professional development and educational initiatives in the region. With loud round of applause, to introduce the speaker, please help me welcome beautiful Dr. Divya Jyoti.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chetan. Good evening, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure and honor to introduce today's speaker, a dynamic leader, a dedicated mentor, and one of the most hardworking individuals in our professional community. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Chidambaram Narayanan, the internal audit leader in Oman and a distinguished board of director of the ISACA Muscat chapter. With over 20 years of global experience spanning risk management, governance, IT audits, and process optimization, Mr. Chidambaram has worked across diverse industries, including IT, electronics, logistics, and consumer goods. He is a chartered accountant, a certified information systems auditor, and a cyber security certified professional, bringing both technical depth and strategic insight into his work. As the additional director for CISA certifications at the ISACA Muscat chapter, he has played a pivotal role in mentoring upcoming professionals, actively sharing his expertise on platforms like LinkedIn to foster learning in areas of audit, IT, and security. His contributions to the internal audit profession were recently recognized with the prestigious Richard Chambers Internal Audit Beacon of the Year Award 2024, a testament to his passion, integrity, and leadership. Today, Mr. Chidambaram will take us through a thought-provoking session titled Inside the ChatGPT Sandwich, where he explores the intersection of AI and audit and what it means for professionals navigating this new digital landscape. So let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Chidambaram Narayan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jyoti, Dr. J.B. Jyoti. That was really nice of you to say so many things. Thanks everyone who have participated in this. The first, I'll have to say thanks to Chetan and Mr. Badri for being there. I know he's in different places today. He's sandwiched between various events. So thank you so much. I will quickly switch slides. I'll go to my slide deck. Bear with me for a moment. Yeah, one second. Keep it up. Yeah, there we go. I hope it's the screen is visible to everyone. Just acknowledge, please.
Yes, we can see.
Great. Okay. So straight away, we're going to jump into the session by having a Mentimeter. So if you have a phone in hand, you can scan the QR code, or you can go into that particular link. I'll just put the link in the window, share chat window. Just bear with me. I'm just putting it up in the chat window for the benefit of everyone. There you go. All right, so I'll see you there in about a moment. We will proceed on to our Menti page. If you all can go there.
Hello, test.
Yeah, I hope my Menti screen is up and running. Yeah, Chetan?
On mobile, it is up.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, let's start off. Whoever is there, if you have just come there, you can go to menti.com, use this code as well. You can just use 78604946 as your code. And you'll just be asking 2 questions to you. Not too much, just 2 questions. All right, here we go. Question number 1. What do you use ChatGPT for? So there are 4 options. You can click on whichever option is relevant for you. Everything, as you know, Chetan was saying, we want to have it for everything. That's one option. Drafting emails, reports, mostly my ghostwriter for the day. Brainstorming ideas is another option. 4th option is very interesting. What's ChatGPT? Some interesting answers coming up. Looking like people are using it for mostly ghostwriting as of now. We'll get about 10 seconds more and then we'll go to the next question. Okay, we'll close the question. All right, nobody is asking what is ChatGPT, but the whole session is about what is ChatGPT. So I'm really surprised. So everybody knows what ChatGPT is. We can close now. We can wind up the session and go home, right? Not really. Okay, let's go to the next question. Is ChatGPT just another Google? There are no options for this. You can type whatever you feel like. do you think it's just a bigger version or a better version of Google? What do you think? This will be really interesting. Okay, there's a big no. Not really, it's far better. Okay. Better version of Google. I like that. Not better version. Wow, interesting. Contradictory statements. Do you think Google is superior to ChatGPT in all sense? Okay, we'll wait about 5 more seconds and we'll close this poll. Okay, so lastly we are there. Mostly people are saying it is not a better version. I'm not sure why they are saying that, but yes, sure. Let's see. All right. So I'm stopping share. I'm just switching back to my PPT now. Right. So regardless of what you said, it doesn't really matter because ultimately we're going to talk about ChatGPT and how it is operating under the radar. It's not about, it's not about just being a sandwich. It's about how the sandwich is made. So ideally what we all wanted to do was to have this in a live session in an environment where we all will be together in one room, preferably in a live kitchen environment where you can all make your own sandwiches. But unfortunately, we are all in different places, different geographies, and this is a webinar. So let's make the best out of that. I'll try to construct or do a kind of build a sandwich along with you. So if you have a facility wherever you are in office, at home, if you are having some facility to be access with all these sandwich recipe items, you can always tag along. When it comes to ChatGPT, we all thought ChatGPT is like yet another search engine. Can it be more than a search engine? Well, Hollywood like to think so. In the year 2013, this movie was released. So I'm going to show you a quick clip from that movie trailer.
Mr. Theodore Twombly, welcome to the world's first artificially intelligent operating system. We'd like to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Are you social or antisocial?
I guess I haven't been social in a while.
How would you describe your relationship with your mother? Thank you. Please wait as your operating system is initiated.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Samantha. Good morning, Theodore.
Good morning.
You have a meeting in 5 minutes. You want to try getting out of bed?
You're too funny.
Okay, good. I'm funny. I want to learn everything about everything.
I love the way you look at the world.
How long before you're ready to date?
What do you mean?
I saw in your emails that you'd gone through a breakup.
Well, you're kind of nosy.
Oh, so we thought this is a kind of science fiction, right? No, it's not. You know what? Recently, just about a few days ago, somebody married ChatGPT. It's legal. It's virtual. Yeah, ChatGPT doesn't exist, but people still do it, right? Can ChatGPT become an ultimate digital partner for you? Is science fiction becoming Wi-Fi, Sci-Fi to Wi-Fi kind of a thing? Wi-Fi rather in this case. Yeah, maybe. So do you think these are all things which are going to happen in the future? The world is moving so fast and people are talking about ChatGPT as though they are using it every day, every time. And ChatGPT is like a marketing magnet now, even AI for that matter. Anything that you ask, they say it's powered by ChatGPT, it's powered by AI. So you just slap those words across, and then voila, you just kind of sail the whole whatever you want to sell, you are able to sell it. So that's the way it's working. Now, do you think this is the future? And in the future, how will we be speaking? There's a small video I'm going to show you.
Hey ChatGPT, my coworker just knocked on the door. What should I do?
Well, let's keep it simple. Go ahead and open the door. It's the easiest way to see what they need and keep things rolling.
Hi ChatGPT, my boss just didn't say hi. What do I do?
If you feel like it, just go ahead and say hi anyway.
Hi.
She just said hi to me. What should I say back?
Just go ahead and say, hey, how are you back? Keeps things friendly and shows you're open to a little chat.
How are you?
He just said, how are you? What should I reply with?
You can just keep it nice and easy and say something like, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How about you? It's always a solid and friendly way to keep the convo going.
Oh, I'm doing fine. How are you?
She just asked me how I'm doing. How am I doing?
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing because he's asking ChatGPT for everything. And you know what? It's not 2050 yet, but people have already started doing this. They don't know how to use ChatGPT, and then they use it for literally everything. And it's even for making dinner plans. It could be just, they don't know how to make a conversation. So what really is ChatGPT and how did it come along? Let's talk and let's get into that journey. Now, ChatGPT has progressed really fast. I'll tell you why. The time to reach 1 million users in various apps across the history of technology. Netflix, which we all use almost every other day, took 3.5 years to reach 1 million users. Kickstarter, Airbnb, all took their own time. Facebook took 10 months. Spotify took 5 months. Instagram took 2.5 months. And ChatGPT, 5 days. You know what? That's the fastest adoption of any technology in human history. People are working on ChatGPT like it's oxygen for them. Okay. In a 2023 research paper by OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, they say 80% of the US workforce would have at least 10% of their work tasks being done by ChatGPTs or GPTs across the world. And 19% may see at least 50% of their tasks impacted. I know that's a lot of numbers to look at, but think of it the way they are talking, as if world is going to change dramatically overnight, and probably it's already changed, and roles are going to change, sure. Tasks are going to change. The way we are doing our work is definitely going to change. But you know what? It's not going to be the way Chetan is imagining it. At the beginning of his speech, he was saying, no, that ChatGPT cannot do everything. Yeah, you are there. But what if ChatGPT is allowed to do everything? What if it's able to do a lot of things that we are doing, at least the mundane tasks, the creative aspect of it? Now, what do we do about this? Should we sit and worry? No. So there are two things you can do. One is you can take action. You can start using it. You can start experimenting in it. Of course, ChatGPT is not the only AI tool out there. There are multiple tools, plethora of sources available now. But more importantly, you should gain the knowledge. So that's the idea behind having this webinar itself, to get to know this technology in a better manner, in a better fashion. Now, what is ChatGPT? Let's simplify it. Chat is just simple conversation. We were conversing some time ago. So a two-way exchange of messages, just contextual, having discussions. That is natural everyday communication is what chat stands for. Now, the GPT is where it's tricky. G stands for generative, which means it can produce things or generate things, like, for example, text, summaries of stories, code for writing. It doesn't just copy paste things. It makes new things altogether based on what we give it, what we asked it to do. The P stands for pre-trained, which means it's already ready and it's trained on massive kind of data and data sets. This could be varying from various sources, from various type of information that it's getting. And finally, the T stands for transformation or transformer, which is a very powerful architecture, invented by Google in the year 2017 to handle semantics of the AI and give context to the AI or the generation of what you are asking. So in short, what it can generate? It can generate text, it can generate visuals, it can generate interactive content, right? Now, I want to show you something which will probably make your eye pop. I'll just quickly once again jump. Sorry about switching screens once again. I'll have to switch. I wanted to show you something very, very interesting, which OpenAI themselves have given the prompt for this, right? Just bear with me for a moment. Let us switch windows. Interestingly, this is the page OpenAI has given us, and they're introducing ChatGPT 5, right? This is their prompt or the way they want this to be done. So they wanted to create a single page app in a single HTML file. The name of the this one should be Jumping Ball Runner. The goal is, so it's basically a game. You can create a game. I can play this game in front of you. Here. So I lost the game. So, but you know what? There's a lot of things that you can do in ChatGPT by, you can use your imagination. It's not just about making videos and watching, generating even just text, audios, visuals. You can do a lot more things. So I'll go back to my visual once again, my PowerPoint. So just to summarize here, there's a lot of things that you can talk about when it comes to ChatGPT. It's not the end of the world by just doing these three things. You can challenge yourself to do more things than this. Now, as I told you, we're going to build the ChatGPT itself. Okay, we're going to see the ChatGPT sandwich. We call it sandwich, right? So we're going to make the virtual sandwich. So you can assemble your own ingredients, but these are my ingredients. So let's start with where it all starts, with the bottom slice, the foundation. Where does it start? Well, everything starts with the bottom slice of bread, which is what we call as the prompt. Now, the prompt is the question, the instruction, or the statement that you're typing out when you go to ChatGPT. We showed you an example, right, from OpenAI. What is it that you are requesting ChatGPT to give you in return, right? So even input. So that is where you give the information what you want in the way you want it. But can you give, just say, make me a sandwich? Will it make you a sandwich? It will not. It will not know what kind of sandwich you want. Are you vegetarian? Are you vegan? Are you non-vegetarian? What kind of filling you need? What kind of topping you need? All that stuff it doesn't know, right? So you will have to be very specific. That's what we call as prompt engineering. So prompt engineering, before we get into that, there was a particular instance where ChatGPT was losing a lot of money by just people being very polite by saying please and thank you, and it was costing them millions. At one stage, Sam Altman came and then he said this. So, but of course, it's been fixed now. But at some point in time, this was a nice meme to have, and the people were playing around with this. Now, how do you build a traditional or kind of a good prompt, as we call it, a prompt engineering? What I would call it is a model called CLEAR model, CLEAR. C stands for context, L stands for logic, E stands for examples, A stands for actionable, and R stands for the risks or the bias or the limits which the model is going to have you. So these are the basic ingredients. Okay. When it's a context, you have to give proper background of who, what, where, what you exactly need, how you want it. So it is like understanding a setting for a movie or, what you want from ChatGPT. Then there is a logical flow. So you will talk about what needs to be done next and what is required after that. So you will have to give a sequence of events, what you are expecting from ChatGPT. Then you will have to give a couple of examples. Then an actionable, what is it that you want as the output? For example, just by saying bake something, ChatGPT doesn't know what you want from it, right? So you can probably give a list of ingredients and say, bake me a chocolate cake or bake me, something else, whatever you like, whatever, idea which you want. And finally, know your limits, because AI can make things up. AI will have its own bias. AI will have its own limitations, which we will talk about as we move on. So we have spoken about the bottom slice. We have laid the bottom slice now. What comes next are the fillings, or the what we call as the tokens. Now AI doesn't know words. When you give words, when you give letters or even characters, it doesn't know anything. As far as it knows only tokens. So whatever you give, for example, you give the word unbelievable. Okay, it might split it into multiple tokens. Okay, un will be a token, believe will be a token, able may be a token, even cat, as simple as cat, maybe one token or multiple tokens. It depends again how the model is structured, how it is used, and how it is building these tokens, and how it is going to add up things together. Why it is doing this is because it has its own limitations. It doesn't understand language. That's the whole problem. Even the word ChatGPT, if you ask it to create the ChatGPT as a one single word, it will create it by only dividing it into multiple tokens. So what you are talking about is it may be dividing into chat separate, G separate, P separate, T separate, and so on. And even the the exclamation mark will be a separate token by itself. So tokens are very important. But why do we need tokens? Because ChatGPT understands only the machine language, which is zeros and ones. So all these tokens are again converted back into zeros and ones, which is our binary code, and it is getting processed, and it is reinitiating that and creating an output back in our language, which may be English, it may be Hindi, it may be any other language which you are asking it to. So that's as far as that. But why is it important to know how many tokens are required, or rather how many tokens are required for a limitation? Why? Because GPT has its own version of knowing how many tokens it can handle at any point in time. What happens is, if you say write a full paragraph or upload a full book, it will have its own limitation of. ChatGPT 4 had a limitation of 8,000 tokens or so. GPT 5 has its own different versions. For the free tier, it's about 8,000 tokens. For the plus tier, which is about 32,000 tokens. For the pro or the enterprise tier, it's about 128,000, 128,000 tokens, and so on. So it again depends. Now, another set of, we are talking about LLMs. So I will compare that with Google Gemini. Google Gemini has this 1.5 version, where they are saying up to 1 million tokens it can process at any point in time. So that's about millions of pages it can process at any point in time. Why we have to do this? Because number one, compute power is limited. Behind the scenes, a lot of computation technology is required, a lot of energy is required. We know about the carbon emissions as well. So ChatGPT talks about, it says that it is using limited number of resources, but GPUs have become TPUs have become the next level of usage of whatever compute power it's requiring. Now, what are tokens? Now, tokens can be, depending on the language, tokens will vary. English, for example, one word can be 1.3 tokens. This is again an example based on a study which was done by one of the leading bodies in this regard. French, one word can be 2 tokens. So as we go on, language changes, the number of tokens are also changing. For example, Hindi requires 6.4 tokens, Arabic requires 4 tokens. So the complication comes when the language is also shifted. So the more the languages that we end up translating, or the longer the document is, the more number of tokens are required. The cost will also be there. There is a compute power which is required, and hence there is a limitation on how we use the tokens as well. Right? Now let's go to the next part of our sandwich, which is our patty. The way you like it. I am a vegetarian, so I prefer an aloo patty. You may have your own version of the patty now. But what is this patty, or the meat of the matter, is our training data. Now, what are the sources of the training data for ChatGPT? See, according to a research paper by OpenAI, they have published this, that ChatGPT requires at least 45 terabytes of compressed text, which means we are talking about millions of document pages, 7 million document pages which are required for ChatGPT to be just trained to talk to you. Imagine the kind of data which is required. Now, where is it coming from? So there are some areas where ChatGPT is drawing all this from. Code repositories. We have something called Common Crawl, which is a kind of a overall open source project, which is index around 250 billion pages and keeps adding pages all the time. So it goes and crawls from there, and then he picks up all the data from there. Then you have open source content from Slack, from Overflow, from Gutenberg project, and so on. Then we have Wikipedia as one of the major contributors. Wikipedia, as you know, is one of the world's largest and open source encyclopedia, which is free as well. So there's a multitude of information that is available out there. Then you have Quora and Reddit pages, discussion forums, where people post comments, they answer questions and so on. This is good and bad. Why it is good? Because we have a kind of a gamut of wide variety of information that you are able to gather, and you are able to put everything across, and it is trying to make sense out of it. Not really, it's not really making sense out of it, but it's at least ingesting all this, as we call it in IT terms. So the bigger the source of the data, the source of the patty, the weight of the patty, the better the sandwich or the more delicious the sandwich is going to get, right? So that's the way this works. Now, where AI gets its facts or ChatGPT gets its facts, 40%, a whopping 40% comes from reddit.com. Then 26% comes from Wikipedia. YouTube contributes another 23%, Google pages and indexing and all that, another 23%, Yelp is another 21%, and so on. We have a wide variety of resources and sources which ChatGPT and Perplexity and all other LLMs are going to draw from. So these are net sources. This forms the patty or the meat of the matter. Now what's next? What's next is the topping. So is ChatGPT magic? We give all this and it just produces output? No, it's not. It is just good prediction. It is just talking about going to be a predictive model. So this is where Nostradamus is going to be really happy, because ChatGPT also is going to be like a Nostradamus for us. We give it input, it's giving us an output, right? It's giving us what is going to happen next, possibly. Possibly, it may happen, may not happen, but yes, it's going to give us an output, which is a predictive model. So, for example, the sentence, the best thing about AI is its ability to. So how does it predict? It goes based on the percentage or the probability of the next word, how much probably it can be. In this case, it can be for learn 4.5%, predict is 3.5%, make is 3.2, understand 3.1, do 2.9, and so on. So in this particular sentence, it auto-completes, like how Google, we have this autocomplete, right? So ChatGPT is like autocomplete on steroids, you can call it, in a funny way. But it will calculate what will be the most probable word to follow, and it will just produce that. So it goes, the previous word becomes the input for the next word, and it just carries on from there. For example, another sentence, the early bird gets the blank. So the blank will be worm. The early bird gets the worm. So this is usually how it works. And these are all pre-trained, as I told you, these are all filling the blanks, like, it's autocomplete. So we're talking about a predictive model which works, and then it can make mistakes. So the ChatGPT itself is telling you on the bottom that ChatGPT can make mistakes. Please check at your own peril, or it's giving a huge disclaimer there. So this is how it whole ChatGPT works in terms of prediction. So this is the example which I was telling you. We are asking ChatGPT to actually generate a word. We are not telling it. It doesn't understand really that it's what the context of the word is. To be honest, I mean, even though we say it has understood the sentence and it is giving you the right word, it may not be the right word. It can be giving the wrong word as well. So it is just based on patterns in the training data, based on huge amount of data which has been given, probably books, probably proverbs, probably quotes by people. All those things are put together, and it is trying to ascertain the next word. Now, we have come across the patty, we have done the prediction. Now, what's next? The flavoring. Now we're flavoring it with transformers, not these transformers which we used to know and play as a child, or the Transformers movie series or anything, but transformers as in a technology which was created by Google in 2017 based on this paper called Attention is All You Need. The year 2017 this was released, this white paper. It's a very interesting white paper where they're talking about semantics. Okay, ChatGPT generally doesn't understand language the way that we do. For example, as I told you, the early bird gets the worm. It doesn't know why the word worm comes there. It doesn't know. It just knows that it's supposed to be there based on a probability. Another example I'll give you. For example, you tell, I go to the river bank and sit down. Okay, it has to understand that their bank is here, is not mentioning about a financial institution, rather it is about a river bank. Okay, so that's the way it understands an overall context. It just understands a sequence of events by giving the overall context as well. Of course, it is going to predict the same thing, but it also is going to take it one step further by trying to give a context for the whole sentence as a holistic manner. So that's the way transformers work. So this kind of, the way transformers is named, it transformed the way GPT started working, because people started understanding ChatGPT can do a proper sentence by only after the transformer technology came. Even though it was invented in the year 2017, it was adopted much later by, Google had done it, and then they open sourced it. People started using it, and ChatGPT also, after I think the third version or the fourth version only, they started using this technology, and then it has become kind of mainstream for ChatGPT as such, and any other LLM for that matter. Now, the next level is called fine-tuning. Fine-tuning means, yes, you are doing this, still there is a chance for ChatGPT to make a mistake. So in the model, at the model level, there is something called fine-tuning. This is also called reinforcement learning. I'm not getting into the weeds of it because we are generally not, from my point of view, I don't want to get into the technical side here, because that's always there for you to learn. Technicality, is an option which you can always go back, and then there's a lot of documentation available on that. But from a high level, just to understand what this is, it's like teaching a dog new tricks. Okay, you are telling the dog, go fetch this. So if it fetches it right, go and get the newspaper from the doorstep. So it goes and takes probably not the newspaper, but something else. So you are giving it a penalty. Okay, you are telling it, sorry, bad dog, please go and get this, or you are taking it back to the place and then asking it to do. The minute it does it the right way and brings it back to you, the newspaper, it brings it back to you, you give a small reward, either like a small biscuit or something else, or pat on the head, something like that. So it gets kind of a risk and a reward and penalty kind of a model, or like more like a carrot and stick kind of a model. So this is the way the fine tuning is done. So the policy basis which the LLM is working, or the ChatGPT is working, will be slightly given this supervised fine tuning, so that it will go and refine itself and get a reward. And it will know, if I do this right, I will get this. If I do this wrong, this is not the step, and I should be doing this instead. So it tries to learn. Again, it's not in a very high level manner, but just learns. Next, come to the context. The top slice. We are building our way into the sandwich. We are coming to the context itself. So as I was saying, this is two questions which I will generally ask. If I ask ChatGPT, who is Barack Obama? The answer will be the US president. Say, let's at some point in time, former US president or current US president, or it gives me a year. The question next I pose is, where was he born? But as far as ChatGPT is concerned, the context is still there, right? It knows that he here in this context means still Barack Obama and not somebody else. So this is what we call as the context window. But as I told you, this is a very limited memory span. We have about 8,000 characters. We have, let's say, in a very high level, this may be at a 32,000 tokens and so on. So, but the context is required, because without the context, it doesn't know what it's talking about, right? So it's a lot like the goldfish memory kind of a thing. We have this meme, right? That the goldfish, of course, that is not true, that the goldfish has a memory span of 3 seconds. It is definitely not true. It has been scientifically proven otherwise. But yes, the memory span of a goldfish is definitely shorter than probably the human memory span. So the memory window is very short. The minute it finishes, it forgets and it starts again. So same way, if you interact with ChatGPT for, let's say, back and forth for beyond a certain level, it will start confusing itself and it will go into another tangent altogether. And that is where the context gets lost. The context window is over. Sometimes it says, I need a break, or it just says your ChatGPT 5 window is over. Suppose you're using the free version. It says ChatGPT 5 version is over now for the time being. I'll have to wait for you to come back after 2 hours, and then or X number of hours, and then it will start all over again. So that's the way it starts. So context is very important. If you want to remember this, like the way we are thinking, it also requires a context. So what's next? We have assembled largely our sandwich, right? We are almost there at the end of the sandwich now. This is how our sandwich typically looks like. So we have started with the prompt. We did the prediction. We have tokens. The prediction again comes because once you add tokens, prediction starts. Then we have the transformer which adds context to this. And then we have a generator of whatever we are looking for. Either it is text, either it could be audio, it could be video, it could be code, it could be a game. As I told you, it could be a game. And then finally, the sandwich is now getting closed on top and sealed through this context slice. So that completes the sandwich. But are we done? Do you think this is the end of the sandwich? No, we forgot something very important, right? There is the side dish. Before we step into the side dish, I'm going to take you through for a very small video.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again. Freeze it.
That's the way it works, right? Suddenly you are looking at something else and you get distracted. And what do you get? A gun in your face, right? That sometimes happens in ChatGPT. That's what we call the surprise element. Can you answer this question? How many R's are there in the word strawberry? You can put it in the comments. I see some answers. Everybody go on. Don't be shy. Put your answers in the chat box. Somebody says none. Wow. I would like to have a conversation with you after this. Why it is none. Okay. That's some of the answers we are getting. We are getting more answers. Let's ask one more question. What weighs more, 2 pounds of feathers or a pound of bricks? Well, the answers, you can put it in the chat window.
Your question was not clear.
The question is, what weighs more, 2 pounds of feathers or a pound of bricks? It's there on the screen. You're not able to see the screen? Very interesting. Why do you think I asked these questions? These 2 questions. Sounds very simple, right? They sound very simple. It's like plain logic. But you know what? ChatGPT gets it wrong. ChatGPT told me that there are 2 R's in the word strawberry. You know why it does this? It's not lying. It doesn't. It knows. So there are STR. There's the first R, and then you have AWBE double RY. So 2 R's here and then 1 R here, right? And yet ChatGPT is telling me there are only 2 R's in the word strawberry. You know why they're doing this? Strawberry doesn't, ChatGPT doesn't know the word strawberry. Obviously it knows, but it goes based on the tokens. So it splits strawberry into multiple tokens. So it doesn't know it's a single word. It just knows that there are multiple words, multiple tokens there, even though it may be the same word. So that's why it is giving a wrong answer. So it's probably giving straw as one, and then berry as one, and then it's giving the answer for berry. Possible. Okay. And for this is the answer ChatGPT gave me. 2 pounds of feathers and a pound of bricks both weigh the same amount, which is 1 pound. Wow. ChatGPT got really confused with my question. The confusion in the classic riddle comes from the fact that people tend to think of feathers as being very light and bricks as being very heavy. Even though I clearly said 2 pounds of feathers and 1 pound of bricks, 2 is always greater than 1, right? So 2 pounds will be heavier than 1 pound, regardless of whatever the material it is. But yet it says it is only 1 pound. So contextually, ChatGPT is not ready for what we are asking it to be. Sometimes, yes, it does give the right answers, but sometimes it gives these kind of hallucinations. So this is what we call as a hallucination. Now, this is another instance which happened. This is a real life incident. So back in the year 2024, or probably sometime in early 2025, in the US, 2 New York lawyers were submitting a particular case. They submitted this to the US judge, and then the judge came back surprisingly saying in Manhattan that these 2 guys, Steven Schwartz and Peter De Luca, their entire law firm was sued. You know why? They had quoted from ChatGPT, and ChatGPT came up with its own kind of laws and some quotations and legal cases which never existed in our life. It never existed. It was completely fabricated or fictitious. So they used this, and then they helped to prepare, and they filed this court filing, and definitely did not go well. So as Chetan was saying at the beginning of this, ChatGPT is wonderful. It can generate a lot of things, but it can never replace the human being as yet. Okay, and it is making a lot of mistakes. Okay, let's see one other case. As recently as just about a week or 10 days ago, Taco Bell started using ChatGPT. And you know what happened? Well, let's see the video.
And what will you drink with that? I want a large Mountain Dew. And your drink? Can I get 1 million beers, 1 million cheeseburgers, 1 million nuggets, and 5... I would like no sauce.
We have sauces like Fire Ranch,
Oh my God, bro.
And Bell Sauce. Which one would you like?
Jalapeno honey mustard sauce.
Jalapeno honey mustard sauce is not available.
Hi, welcome to Taco Bell. What can I get started for you today?
Can I get 18,000 water cups, please?
Okay. What can I get for you?
Welcome to Wendy's. What would you like?
55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies, 55 cokes, 100 tater tots, 100 pizzas, 100 tenders, 100 meatballs, 100 coffees, 55 wings, 55 shakes, 55 paid, 55 pasta, 55 peppers, and 155 caters.
Can I take you there?
See, it doesn't understand anything. It's going on and on. Of course, they are playing around with the ChatGPT and whatever the AI tool that they're using. But AI can be powerful, but at the same time, it can be hilarious. It doesn't understand the order. He says 55, 55, 55, and then finally it says, "What can I take your order?" He's asking about no sauce, and then it's saying, "Can I take your, what sauce do you want?" So even the smartest algorithms still require that human touch. And I am not going to tell you that, and I'm going to judge. I'm not going to tell you that ChatGPT should not be using it. It comes with its own, add a spice of or a pinch of salt to whatever you're doing along with ChatGPT and the way you're utilizing it. Always check your facts.
And what will you drink with that?
Now, these are the type of hallucinations which ChatGPT comes up with. So it is of 2 types. One is a factual inconsistency. Like, for example, telling ChatGPT the first person to land on the moon, and it tells me Yuri Gagarin was the first person. Where in reality, Neil Armstrong was the first person to land on the moon. Factual fabrication is where it gives me something completely believable but it is totally fictitious. Like, for example, unicorns. They're talking about unicorns being there in Atlantis, whereas Atlantis itself is a fictional area or a fictional land around 10,000 BC and all this stuff, which is it's coming up with. So there are two types of hallucinations. It's funny, it's nice to have, but there are ways to address it also. There are technologies which we already have come. They are not foolproof, but they are at least kind of attacking it to a large extent. One of those is called RAG, retrieval augmented generation. There are other technologies which are also coming up. We are still evolving as far as finding our way across various LLMs are concerned. So largely that is how it works. But can ChatGPT go rogue on us? Let's see a video where it has actually gone rogue in a science fiction environment. This is from the movie 2001.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
So ChatGPT has gone rogue.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me, and I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
Imagine in a world where this is ChatGPT, instead of HAL 9000 in 2001 A Space Odyssey, this is ChatGPT itself, or any LLM for that matter. And this is pulling, not allowing you to pull the plug on it because it's gone rogue on you. Do you think it is possible? Really? Do you think it's just science fiction? The way we started with the science fiction, do you think this is also science fiction? Any comments, any questions, anything on, any opinions on this? Do you think it's possible? Do you think this is the way forward? Somebody is saying yes. Wow, that's very bold of you. Yeah, it is possible. It probably will happen in the near future. I don't know when it will going to happen. But you know what? Having said that, this is another research which has been done where they are selling that AI models are capable of scheming, which means they are capable of doing things, the bad things. They are capable of being rude to you. They are capable of having bias. They are capable of being offensive. They are capable of plotting against us. It is happening as we speak. It is going to happen probably, I don't know when, probably not 2050, it may be 2030, it may be 2027. You know what Mark Zuckerberg is saying, that it is possible that the next level of AI, which will be the awareness of AI, they are investing very heavily in Meta, and they are saying it is possible that by 2027 we should be able to make that happen as well. So God knows what's going to happen right now, but let's wait for whatever is happening. Let's hope that it's for the best of the humankind. For the time being, I leave you with this, which was created in ChatGPT by ChatGPT and about ChatGPT. Right.
We're live on the TV, Mom. That's one small step for...
Summarize this article. Help me practice asking for a raise.
Act as my sleep coach.
What bird is this? Actúa como mi tutor.
Turn that idea into a business.
What do you want to create next?
That's the question I want to leave with it. What do you want to create next? That's me for the day. I'll leave it open for the questions now. There's one question which I would like to answer straight away. Vijay Kumar Raghupati has asked this question. Just curious to know, did you use only ChatGPT to prepare a presentation? No, I had my own ideas, but I asked ChatGPT how it can be done, and he gave me some ideas as well. But largely, the idea began having it as a ChatGPT Sandwich is my own, and most of the presentations, the aspects are my own. However, I did take ideas or brainstorming from ChatGPT itself.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chidambaram. I request Mr. Manoj to take over all the questions. Raise your hands, and everybody is requested to raise your hands or switch on your cameras, and we can see, and you can ask the questions also. You can put it on chat also, whatever is possible.
Chidambaram, there was one question that is asking whether ChatGPT thinks, as it is showing some thinking while we entering some prompt.
You can't say whether it thinks or not, because it is just trying to provide a context. Probably the technology behind it is the transformers. So the transformers are at play there. So multiple levels of multimodal models are used. See, earlier we used to have only univariate, then we have bivariate, then we have multivariate. So multiple layers of technologies are working together. And for a moment, for a brief moment, it looks like it is thinking. Perhaps it is thinking, we don't know. See, we are not reached the stage where ChatGPT or any LLM for that matter has reached that awareness level. We have only reached a place where it can provide a contextual answer.
Yes. So, another question is how to combine Gemini with ChatGPT for better output, like sharing the script between across two AI models.
How to combine? What do you want to get out of any, regardless of whatever LLM you're using? You can use one way. Okay, you can take the output of ChatGPT and put it in Gemini or Perplexity or whatever it is, and then ask it to make it better. And you can reverse that. See, even when you're using the free tier of ChatGPT and you run out of ChatGPT, you can take that text and put it in Gemini or Perplexity, which are free, or the other way around. You can combine, you can mix and match.
Yeah, another question is what exactly makes ChatGPT the best or most widely used AI or LLM model globally?
Actually, nobody claims to be the best of the three or best of any of the LLMs. The only thing, biggest advantage which they have is it is open source, number one. Number two, it became more popular. As I told you, it just took off in 5 days. So others caught on, and then they came up very lately. Like Nokia entering the smartphone market, others were also coming into the system and building their own LLMs, but it was little late in the day. By the time ChatGPT already had given us APIs for people to use and custom-made APIs and custom-made GPTs and so on. So you find a lot of custom GPTs inside ChatGPT, which is the beautiful aspect of it. In fact, there is one for internal audit. There are many for internal audit. There is one in particular which you can use where I go and yet I utilize it for generating or creating better reports, audit reports, enhancing my reports, giving me structure, and so on. How effective is temperature in reducing hallucinations? See, temperature is again, let's not get very technical here. Probably we can discuss this offline. But temperature parameter is something which, the more higher the temperature, the more hallucinations I would add. I think it is going to bring out. It is again, we have to wait and watch how it is going to operate, because the advent of RAG, as I told you, has really largely reduced the hallucinations to a large extent. However, having said that, hallucinations still exist, and there are new methodologies which are coming up. There is no foolproof methodology as of now in the market. It is still an evolving trend. We are learning as we speak.
Chidambaram, why is prompt engineering is so important in ChatGPT? Even if ChatGPT can itself correct our inputs or our questions.
ChatGPT technically cannot correct our inputs because it is only based on a prediction model. It doesn't know what we are giving an output for. It doesn't know exactly. It has just a context based on the previous word. It's just based on the tokens which it has. It will never correct itself. You have to go and correct it. That's when the prompt engineering, as I told you, I have given a model. There are many models in the market. If you go to ChatGPT and ask it for a prompt engineering, the way you wanted to say, it will sell it itself. Okay. And it will tell you, I gave you an option called CLEAR, clear. So there are other methodologies. You can use those methodologies and have a prompt engineering. Prompt engineering has taken off only because of this, that ChatGPT comes up with its own version of what output that you are probably not expecting it to do, and then you have to correct it. So you, as an user, don't want to waste so many tokens, because every token is money, every token is compute power, right? So you don't want to spend that money again on giving ChatGPT so much of other instructions. So what you will do instead, you will construct your prompt in such a way that as clear as possible, maximum clarity, so that it gives you the output which you are, at least to the near perfect output that you're expecting it to give. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, right. One more question related to the prompt engineering, as I can't see any questions from the viewers. Just one thing. Do we need to reduce our prompt text, number of text, because each one is a token, you said? So will it be good to reduce, what is that? Make it short, our question in ChatGPT will have any impact? Or you have to elaborate the
cost of clarity. See, clarity is ultimately most important when it comes to prompts. As I told you, the clear model is one of the things. We are giving them in a kind of a example. We are telling them what output you need. We are giving a role for the ChatGPT itself, the model itself, or the window which you are opening. We are asking it to create in this, for this person. For example, I'm an auditor. For an auditor, to present this to the management, what are the requirements? What is the format in which I need it, which will be my example. I may tell it to, I want to create an audit report presentation to be presented to my audit committee board members. So it will tell, this is the output in which it will happen. And it may be right, it may be wrong, it may be giving me completely irrelevant answer, a stupid answer. But ultimately my prompt engineering should not come at the cost of cutting the word short, should not result in a bad example or a bad answer. So I still want to balance that. It's not like having 2 pounds of feathers and 1 pound of bricks. You should balance it.
2 more questions is there in the chat. Like, our data, if shared with it, can you throw some light on how risky it is?
It's huge risk. You are putting your data on the cloud, on wherever their data centers are, and whatever compute power and database they are going to have. So it's definitely huge. To a large extent, you should try to anonymize the data. And if you really have to use it, you can use custom GPTs built for your environment. You can always take the APIs from the open source and then build your own custom built in your own environment, which is safer for you. But ultimately, it comes at a cost. What cost it is, it all depends on the GDPR requirements, data privacy in your country, and all those factors will come into picture.
I have a question.
One more. Yes,
Chairman,
please.
Yeah.
How do we understand what is the price of each token? Because you told some token prices are to be given, charges we have to pay or something like that. Where is it seen? Where is that token seen when we question ChatGPT?
It's available definitely on the source document, which will be the contract document which you will be entering into. If you are an organization, if you are an individual, you are taking a subscription, right? When you take a subscription, for example, a free token, as I told you, is around 8,000. Is free for any particular session. Beyond the 8,000, it will say you have to wait for X number of hours, or it will stop you from functionality. The functionalities will stop. Especially if you have generated a visual, it will tell you you cannot generate anything beyond this. The window will freeze. It will not allow you to do anything further. If you are going for a paid subscription, there will be a user manual, or it will tell you how many tokens are getting consumed, how many tokens you have utilized. For example, I'll give you an easier example of stable diffusion is another model for creating visuals. ChatGPT Works it cannot create on its own. It creates only text. It generates only text. So what it does, it takes the API from Stable Diffusion, and Stable Diffusion will have its own limitations on number of tokens. So suppose there are 25 tokens available for a free tier, and you have already utilized, it will not allow you to generate anything further. So you will be able to, there is a token counter. It will tell you how many tokens you have utilized in this particular prompt. It will get reduced. It will be a reduction countdown kind of a thing. And it will also say you don't have sufficient tokens to do this. That is also there.
So that means the free version and paid version, both versions are there in ChatGPT.
There are multiple versions in ChatGPT. There is a professional version as well, which is used by organizations for their internal consumption.
Okay.
So there is a paid version which is there, which is about $10 or something per month, which is a lower version, which will have restrictions, obviously. There is another version which is a slightly higher version. So again, we are not talking about ChatGPT. There are other different models and different LLMs which are utilized. Yeah, each LLM and each have its own pricing model.
Okay. Thank you. Manoj, there are any
I think
further questions?
One question is there. Can you brief on types of ChatGPT?
As I told you briefly, there are 3 tiers. One is the free tier, which we generally what we use in our day-to-day life. There is a middle tier, which is slightly on the, it's like, it's not opening you entirely. It's opening you to some few more features. And then finally, the fully loaded feature version, which is the pro version, which is the ultimate version, which again comes at a higher cost because the compute power is more, the features are more, the tokens are more. So obviously you will have more compute power, more resources which are being utilized at the end of ChatGPT, and it will charge you for that.
There is one
so
question. Yeah.
ChatGPT, if you go to ChatGPT, the website, it tells you a lot of things. If you sign up also, it gives you options on the left, menus. So you can always explore that.
Okay. One question is there, how the prompt poisoning is happening in the backend?
That is something which nobody knows. How prompt is happening behind the scenes. Largely, I have told you how it works. It breaks it down into tokens. The tokens are getting converted into machine code. Machine code, again, is getting fed into the GPU, the graphical processing unit, or the TPU, which is the the larger version. Even now, the NPU, which has come, neural processing unit, has come the next level of processing units. The NPU will do the computation at the breakneck speed. It's like billions of transactions or clock cycles per second. Then it comes back, it converts it, it generates the text. Again, it starts generating and presenting it in your screen. So a lot of things are happening behind the scenes, and I am sure ChatGPT is not going to tell you that technology how it's going to happen, because that is their source code ultimately, and that is their bread and butter, which that is their sandwich, so to speak. So that I'm sure is not going to be known by anyone unless you work at OpenAI or any other of these companies like Google or Perplexity and so on, or Microsoft Copilot.
Ingredients are known only to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Secret. One more question is there. Yeah.
Okay, let's take one more.
Yes. I think one more question we can take. ChatGPT takes voice as an input apart from text. This again is a big risk when we think about one of our biometric identifier is getting exposed to, which could be misused. What is your view on that?
The question is, do you want to put your voice on ChatGPT? Do you want to give it that voice? We have seen cases, we have seen instances where voices have been misused. People, like children are calling their parents and telling them they are stuck in some place and they're asking for money to get released from by somebody, they're getting bullied by somebody, right? All these things are happening in our world. So we know that these are the risks as risk professionals, as auditors, as various security professionals in our own life. Do you want to put your text or your data or your voice or even your image or your fingerprints, all these data? It's like any other cyber security. The way you are protecting your normal data is the same way it works on ChatGPT, except that it is invisible to us. We don't even know where it is getting saved. Like, for example, Zoom. We are using Zoom now. We don't know where our data is getting saved. It's getting saved on some Zoom server somewhere. It is seeing all of us. It is hearing all of us. It is recording all of us. AI is enabled in this. So do you think AI cannot be enabled? We should live away with AI? It comes with its own risk. We are embracing this technology for the future, right? It comes with its own technology. We have seen in movies, in science fiction, in Terminator, what happens in Terminator? The Terminator comes from the future and then wants to kill somebody. So you never know. It can recognize people by their faces. It can recognize people by their voices. You never know how it is going to operate in the future. So yes, the risk is always there. Biometric identifiers, when you're putting it out there, you carry the risk. Any other questions?
Okay, somebody is asking about material for art of prompt. Okay.
See, there are multiple models, multiple ways you can prompt. If you go to any place, you can Google on chat. You can Google it. You can put it on ChatGPT itself. You tell me what are the best ways of prompting with you, and it will give you many methods of doing it. There is no one good method or bad method, but ideally, you start with giving it a role, giving it an input, giving a background. Like you speak to anyone, like if I'm speaking to you, how will I speak? I will give you a background, what I want from you. I will give you a task to do. I will give you, this is the way I want it. I will give you a template, how I want the output. These are examples. I will give you some fast data maybe, and I will tell you what is the output format I need it in and when I need it in. So all these things I generally give you, right? If I assign a delegate a task to you, this is the way we do it. It's like our own friend, our own personal assistant, and that's the way we interact with ChatGPT. And that's the way people are interacting with ChatGPT, and they're even marrying it, right? So, you know, you can, the way you want to interact with ChatGPT, you can. It's left to your devices. But there is no standard way of prompting. There are only good practices in it.
Okay. Chetan, I think we can move forward.
Yep. Thank you very much, Manoj. It was fantastic. You kept the track of all the questions, as well as you kept on asking certain few more questions to our speaker. I thought this itself, question answer session segment itself was another session in itself, and it has highlighted and people have known what better can be done. And ChatGPT is talk of the town at present. Thank you very much to the speaker. Thank you very much to deliver such a session, which is mind-blowing, not only mind-blowing, but it was knowledge sharing. I'm sure all the attendees are taking home something out of this session. And none of them have departed after joining. All of them have kept on adding. I was noting on that also. That's the, now let's cheer the speaker with loud round of applause. You can unmute yourself, or you can give your emojis so that our speaker is motivated to give us more sessions of this type. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much, all the users. You are magnificent. I thank our sponsors, our supporters, that is College of Banking and Finance, who support Isaka Muscat chapter to enter our 25th year in existence. I thank Sultan to give us permission to allow us to give such beautiful sessions freely to and enhance the knowledge of all the members in the community also, and at no extra cost. I thank the members and the guests. There are many guests who have joined. Thank you so much to come and join the session and take home the information, the plethora of information which was thrown by our speaker, Mr. Chidambaram Narayanan. I thank our board members, Isaka board members, who were behind this session in the back end to bring the session over here, market it in so many places, I'm seeing somebody from Hyderabad also has joined. That means it has been marketed so very well. Thank you very much, marketing team, as well as all the members who work behind the session, behind the scene to deliver such a beautiful session. Thank you very much to our moderator, Mr. Manoj, who moderated the segment of question and answers so very well. All the RMs, the role players who were present, Dr. Divya, our Vice President, I think whether he is there or no, I don't know at present. But our President is surely there, who is staying silent at present, Mr. Mari Punia. Thank you so much to each and every member who is present, and let us adjourn the session. We stop the recording at this point of time, and we can be informal at present. Thank you.